There's one major problem with identifying who won and who lost on National Signing Day. We don't really know how good any of these players will be at the college level. Sure, programs that land 4- and 5-star prospects on the last day of the recruiting cycle seem to position themselves for future on-field success. History suggests that contrary to whatever Coach X says about the futility of recruiting rankings, stars matter. The recruits rated at the top of their respective classes, on balance, outperform those with only a couple of Power 5 scholarship offers. But the rankings do not have a perfect track record. Blue chippers have failed to live up to the hype. Just as 2 stars from small high schools sometimes blossom into stars. It's important to keep this stuff in mind if you feel the urge to agonize over or celebrate what went down on signing day. Here are 5 winners and losers from Wednesday. Winners: USC. What didn't go right for the Trojans on signing day? Plucking Westlake High 4-star linebacker Levi Jones from Texas's backyard marked an early conquest. He gets bonus points for the method of his reveal. A shirt-shedding maneuver completed with a standard baseball cap placement. But USC was just getting started. North Canyon Rees High 5-star offensive tackle Austin Jackson followed suit. Ditto for Bingham, Utah High 5-star defensive tackle Jay Tufele. By the end of the day, the Trojans would add another 5-star prospect, Augustus F. Hawkins, Caliph High wide receiver Joseph Lewis, and 2 4-stars, Intercom Caliph High tight end Josh Follow and athlete Greg Johnson, Lewis teammated Augustus F. Hawkins. This is not the first time USC has stolen the show on signing day. But that shouldn't detract from what the program accomplished under a head coach who was the subject of hot seat speculation just a few months ago. Now Clay Helton will add one of the best recruiting classes in the country to an already loaded roster. Michigan Wolverines coach Jim Harbaugh was so thrilled about a commitment from a heralded prospect earlier this week that he jumped in a pool to celebrate it. But the decision of that prospect, Iowa High 4-star wide receiver Oliver Martin, was only a prelude to a superlative signing day. Michigan beat out 2 SEC recruiting heavyweights Alabama and Georgia for another pass catcher, Clay Chalkville, High 4-star Nico Collins, to round out an impressive cluster of wide receivers in its 2017 class that also includes Cass Technical, Mich. High 5-star Donovan Peoples-Jones and Cheshire Khan Academy 4-star Tariq Black. The Wolverines' biggest victory of the day, though, came on the other side of the ball. Another top-shelf prospect from the Southeast, Lee County, High 5-star defensive tackle Aubrey Solomon spurned the Crimson Tide and the Bulldogs in favor of the Wolverines. The 2 additions completed another haul that will help Harbaugh keep Michigan competing at the top of arguably the most challenging division in the Power 5, the Big Ten East. Baylor. The Bears would have been winners even if they didn't land any prospects on signing day. Since the program hired Matt Rule from Temple in December, a move skeptics questioned because of his lack of recruiting ties to Texas, Baylor has added 26 players to its 2017 class. 2 joined the party on Wednesday. England Arc High 3-star defensive end Brandon Thompson and East Ascension High 3-star defensive end Justin Harris. Their choices punctuate a rousing pre-signing day stretch for a program with a dismal recruiting situation. The influx of talent may not pay major dividends in 2017. These prospects will need some time to develop, and remember, the Bears struggled to keep their 2016 haul intact. But by signing so many quality players in such a short span, Rule laid the groundwork for a successful rebuild. For more on Baylor's recruiting, read Pete Emmel's feature from Waco, Alabama. The disappointment Crimson Tide fans carried into the offseason after their favorite program lost in the national championship game should have evaporated on Wednesday. Alabama provided a reminder of why it has been, and will continue to be, so difficult to beat during Coach Nick Saban's tenure. The Tide hit on 3 of their top targets to shore up another top-ranked class. Amitla High 5-star wide receiver Devonta Smith, Robert E. Lee Ayla High 4-star wide receiver Henry Ruggs and James Clemens Ayla High 4-star defensive end LeBrian Real announced for Alabama, losing a heated battle with Michigan for Solomon Hurts. But the Tide need not fret over one recruiting miss, particularly after they added a different player at the same position, Neville High 4-star Fidarian Mathis, on Tuesday. Plus, Saban can counter by pointing to his win over the Wolverines in a competition for an even better prospect, Antioch Caliph High 5-star running back Najee Harris, last month. Florida. As criticism mounted over Florida coach Jim McElwain's lack of progress on the recruiting trail in recent weeks, the likelihood of a dismaying signing day seemed overwhelmingly high. He and his staff delivered exactly the opposite. The Gators cashed in where analysts thought they'd collapse, triumphed where rivals hoped they'd tumble. American Heritage FLA High 5-star offensive defensive lineman Tedarrell Slayton began the day with his pledge to Florida over Southeast rival Georgia. Slayton's pick set off a sequence of big gets for the Gators. Clearwater FLA High 3-star running back Adarius Lemons, Christopher Columbus FLA High 4-star cornerback Christopher Henderson, Miramar FLA High 3-star safety Brian Edwards and Lakeland Sr. FLA High 4-star wide receiver James Robinson. Robinson may have been the most shocking late addition to Florida's class after reports suggested earlier this week that the program had pulled his scholarship offer. Robinson was cited for marijuana possession on a recent visit to Ohio State. But together these players will provide a late tailwind to a class that seemed to be limping toward the finish line. Losers. Texas. Any hope that new Texas coach Tom Herman could immediately restore the Longhorns' place atop the Lone Star State recruiting pecking order gave way to the realization that it's going to take a while. First, Westlake, Texas, High 4-star offensive tackle Stephen Zabby decided to bolt Austin in favor of the West Coast and sign with UCLA. Then came Bishop Dunn Catholic, Texas 4-star cornerback Chevin Callaway's announcement that he's headed to Arkansas. The most crushing blow, though, involved one of the best players on the market across the country entering Wednesday. North Shore Senior, Texas, 5-star defensive end Kalavin Chasen opted for LSU. Signing day wasn't a complete disaster for Herman. He got a late yes from JUCO 3-star defensive tackle Jamari Chisholm. And Winter Park High 3-star wide receiver Jordan Pouncey is a nice pickup out of Florida. But the overall picture is bleak. This was a humbling day for the Longhorns. Ohio State. The Buckeyes were not considered favorites for the 2 targets on whom they missed out, so perhaps they don't belong here. That said, Coach Urban Meyer's recruiting track record demands a rigorous grading curve. His consistent success attracting top-end talent to Columbus makes it difficult to process even minor failures. After watching hated rival Michigan reel in one of the nation's top defensive tackles in Solomon, Ohio State couldn't close on 2 other esteemed players at that position. Episcopal Tex, High 5-star Marvin Wilson, the nation's top uncommitted prospect entering Wednesday, picked Florida State, and Tufele picked USC. True, the Buckeyes rebounded by adding a talented in-state offensive lineman, Washington, Ohio, High 4-star tackle Thayer Munford. But that's little consolation for a program that seemingly won every recruiting battle it wanted to while assembling a terrific 2017 class. Jarvis Parks. This is an unfortunate development for a promising player. Parks put off a planned announcement on Wednesday at his high school, Sebastian River, FLA, only to later reveal his decision to attend Alabama by tweeting out a video produced by Bleacher Report featuring the Eiffel Tower. The problem was that the Crimson Tide did not have a spot in their 2017 class for Parks. Instead, he is expected to enroll in Tuscaloosa next spring, as a so-called gray shirt. The designation is sometimes used by programs looking to add lesser prospects to their rosters. But Parks, the number 7 defensive end and No. 68 recruit overall in the class of 2017 according to Scout.com, is a blue chipper with an offer list full of Power 5 heavyweights. It's bizarre to see a player of his caliber delay enrollment because a program didn't have room to fit him in. Nebraska. This is a debatable choice. Pulling Bishop Dunn High 3-star defensive tackle Damian Daniels out of Dallas is no small thing, and getting John Muir Califf High 4-star cornerback Elijah Blades on board after he decommitted from Florida is another big move in recruiting crunch time. But the positivity of Daniels's and Blades' picks was outweighed by a string of negative headlines. Lewis and Johnson elected to stay home and sign with USC. Cathedral. Califf High 4-star wide receiver Jameer Calvin flipped to Washington State, and Bishop Morris Elysian Califf High 4-star defensive back Diamador Lenoir chose Oregon. This wasn't a terrible day for the Cornhuskers, and their 2017 class, on the whole, will help Coach Mike Riley and his staff build a winner in a weak Big Ten West division. There's little doubt, for example, that Bishop Gorman, Nev. High 4-star wideout Tyhan Lindsey will give opposing defensive coordinators nightmares throughout his stint in Lincoln. Still, the bitter taste of a somewhat dispiriting signing day will linger into the spring. Georgia. Another debatable choice. Bulldogs coach Kirby Smart and his staff had already done great work in this cycle before Wednesday by compiling a class that includes one of the best quarterbacks in the country, Jake Fromm, a group of talented offensive linemen, and a collection of promising defensive backs, among other coveted prospects. However, Georgia came away empty-handed on its most highly regarded targets on signing day. Grayson, High 4-star athlete Jamiest Williams rebuffed a late push from the Bulldogs to stick with South Carolina. Solomon announced he's leaving the Peach State to play for Michigan. Collins revealed he'll follow Solomon to Ann Arbor, Crisp County. High 4-star defensive end Marcavius Bryant decided on Auburn. Slayton made the call for divisional foe Florida and Brookwood. High 4-star linebacker Leonard Warner III settled on Florida State. For Georgia fans, it was a disheartening day of denials.